What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dopeliven TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dopeliven TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Greg Gray. Welcome to Dopeliven TV Live. Check this out. Let me start it out by saying the views that are expressed on this Dopeliven TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dopeliven TV or its affiliates. Man, we're going to have a good show today. I hope everybody had a great weekend. You're here. You're up. So you had a good one, right? We're going to have a good show today, man. We want to talk about Black entrepreneurship. What are the pros and cons of it? You know, what are the parts? What are the bad parts? Is there a despair, what's the word I want to use? Y'all know this live TV, so we mess up sometime, okay? What's the difference between a white entrepreneur and a Black entrepreneur, okay? Is there a big gap when it comes to the payments, when it comes to making the money? Just because you're a Black entrepreneur, you know what, I'm gonna stop right now, okay? Because I had a brother, I was talking to this brother before the show. We had a good conversation. I wish I could roll tape before the show started so y'all can hear what this brother was talking about, man. I mean, we had a great conversation. My man Mohammed's going to come on and talk with us. What's up, Marcella?
Hello. How are you?
Chilling. Disparity, that's the word I want to use. Sometimes the words come out, you know, I got crooked teeth. Sometimes it come out wrong, okay? Come out left and right, all right? So that's the word I was talking about, though. Disparity.
Yeah.
You spelled it wrong the first time, too.
But I corrected it immediately. And I saw
you
couldn't even get the word out.
What's happening, yo? I got it, man. Hey, man, look. We're going to have a great show today, okay? We want to talk about entrepreneurship. We want to see, again, what the pros and cons are, why we can, as a people, come together. And remember, man, I think tomorrow, Natalie Murphy, Miss Murphy, I keep calling her, okay? Nicole Murphy's coming on tomorrow. She has the Barter Black website. It's a great thing. We need to come together, y'all, okay? And we don't have to pay exorbitant prices to get what we need out, all right? Let's talk to each other. Let's find out what each other does and barter. Let's get it, right? Mm-hmm. Man, look, I got my brother Mohammed Shakur. He waiting, okay, to come on. We're going to talk about this, all right? He got a lot of good stuff to say. I'm telling y'all. Mm-hmm. We talked about a half hour. And that half hour, it wasn't necessarily about Black entrepreneurs, but it was about a lot of other things. So, and I told him, I said, we're going to have him come on another show just to talk about some other things, okay? But without further ado, let's bring my brother on. What's up, Mohammed?
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening, Mr. Gray. Hello, good evening, Miss Amos. Hello, good evening, Mo B. How y'all doing today?
Hi, how are you? Good. We're great.
Man, this guy has a lot to say.
Hold on.
What?
What's up? I gotta flash a shirt too. We gotta be better humans.
I like that.
Let's go. But this gentleman has a lot to say about a lot of things. All right. Just in a half an hour, man, we talk grassroots on a couple of subjects, but real hard on the entertainment aspect of it. And we're going to definitely, he said he'll come back and talk about that too, because what he said made sense. All right. But we're talking about these entrepreneurs today, and we want to try to dig into the reasons for being a Black entrepreneur, and what are the downfalls and what are some of the great points about being a Black entrepreneur. The question was asked, what is a Black entrepreneur? So I looked it up, okay? And simply put, a Black entrepreneur is someone who has a history of overcoming obstacles and creating something from nothing. So, I think we as Black people, period, we've gone through so much throughout the years, and to have some monocle of success, we happy, okay? But Mohammed says something just right before the show started that really made a lot of sense, okay? And Mohammed, I want you to talk about what we talked about, okay? Because I'm going to say it, and then you can expound on it, right? Marcy and Mo, jump in when you feel like it, okay? He said, if you're truly an entrepreneur, why are you working a 9 to 5? Go ahead, Mohammed.
I definitely had to pose that question because as someone who's been an entrepreneur for I want to say a little over 9 years, almost 10 years. I've been doing photography since I was 24. 33 right now, I'll be 34 in February. And I admit it wasn't exactly easy. First and foremost, I definitely had to learn how to be a photographer. I had to learn about the angles. I had to master the angles, but more importantly, I had to learn. Let me take off my glasses because that. I had to learn to be a little bit more confident behind the equipment. That way, necessary, I can give the models or anybody else that I'm working with a sense of direction in order to be able to capture the image that they will like, and also capture the image that I know for certain is going to work good for them, whether it's for their likeness, whether it's for their business and brand, whether it's for their self as far as representation is concerned. So I've always thought that if we're going to be serious about entrepreneurship, Black entrepreneurship, we shouldn't be working for anybody, or at the very least, we shouldn't be working for white people. And the reason being I put it that way is because if you have a serious business plan and you know for a fact that it's going to work well and you have the necessary skills and the wherewithal to be able to do it, you should not be having a 9 to 5 at this point in time. And I've seen it all over Instagram. I've seen it all over Facebook. I've seen it all over Twitter. The brothers and sisters, whether it's doing toiletries, making soaps, cocoa butters and shea butters and whatnot, whether it's making food or diving into food prep as far as chefing is concerned, whether it's landscaping, even a little fashion design, whether it's creating shirts, creating hats, clothing and whatnot. And I see it too. The numbers are there. They're doing really well. But for whatever reason or another, and some of these brothers and sisters I know, some of them still got jobs. Some of them are still Uber and Lyft drivers. Some of them still work at H&M. Some of them still work at Burger King or McDonald's or what have you. Like if it's not little basic 9 to 5s, then they definitely have something to where they are. They're basically these, regardless any way you slice it, whether it is Burger King or being a licensed attorney, they're still answering to somebody. And it's like, yo, you're doing good. I see the numbers once again. And, if someone is serious about their business, you see how much money that you're raking in. Why are you not implementing that budgeting plan or enforcing that budgeting plan? Why is it that you're still feeling comfortable to report to the supervisor or what have you?
Well,
I always got to ask these questions, and I always get the same old answer. It's just the reason why I got the 9 to 5 is because I'm funding my business. And none of that, and that right there also doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, how is it that you're relying on this paycheck to fund your business when you're literally generating a decent amount of money, or you're supposed to be generating a decent amount of money?
There you go.
So that's why I have to ask that question again. What is your budgeting plan? And if you have a budgeting plan, why are you not enforcing it? And that is some lessons I also had to learn as well, because when I moved back up to New York City and I was doing my photography thing for 3 years, I bought in. I was working at Chipotle, but then I quit because COVID had hit, and they literally took me off the schedule for about a month. So that basically gave me time to sit down and think and figure out my next move. And through the grace of the Most High, a brother blessed me with some equipment. He blessed me with a camera. He blessed me with a tripod, and I just went out and I just started doing my thing. I had to learn to get my not payment sheet. I can't remember, rate sheet. I had to learn to write a rate sheet for myself. And I also had to learn how to be consistent about it. I had to master my budgeting plan. Like I was looking at my finances every month, and I was looking to see what was it going to, what it should go to, what it should not go to, what's an expense, what's useless, stuff like that. So I say all that to say, just those 3 years alone of learning, and not relying on nobody, strictly my funds. That was the best decision I've ever made. And another reason why I stress that it's one of the best decisions I ever made, because I got to see who was really for me and who was against me. And I can't count how many times I've heard people insisted that I was going to go back on the employment sector.
And I think sometimes there's an echo. Some of the people might be afraid of not of failing. So, and that can be a reason too why they have the 9 to 5 to wait until, okay, I want to wait until I make this amount or that amount. And that could be a reason also why they're doing 9 to 5. And, they have to just trust what they're going into as well.
Well, that's, you got to go through it. Okay. So that's that safety net, I guess. And I don't even think that's a safety net, because as I'm listening to Mohammed, so you're making money, but then you want to go back there and you say you're funding your business. All right. So in reality, you're not making anything. Okay. Because even with your 9 to 5, you're taking that money and putting it into the business that is not thriving. So what are we doing?
That's where I think knowledge of the business that you're going into is a key. I mean, first, before you go into business, you got to know what the hell you're doing. You got to go somewhere and learn it from somebody before you go into business. And that's putting a carriage where the carriage is supposed to be, the horse is where the horse is supposed to be. I mean, there's no bones about it. You got to absolutely positively know what the hell you're doing. I know some businesses may not, you may have jumped into some business and been successful without any education. A lot of people have done it before, but it depends on the business. I just can't generally throw that blanket on all of entrepreneurs that get out there, because sometimes maybe they're going to school, maybe they have to take care of some folks, what I'm saying, other than themselves. So I mean, there's a lot of variables. You just can't throw that blanket out there like that.
Of course, I agree with you. And just to set the record straight, for me, sometimes when I speak, I don't consider variables, and it's not to be rude or disrespectful by saying this, but the reason why I don't consider variables, because there are certain people that's not part of the conversation whenever we talk about certain subjects. In this case, we're talking about entrepreneurs. Like, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to figure things out. So that's not up for debate. If you're a college student and you're stepping into entrepreneurship, by all means, go ahead and do your thing. If you got a family if you're in a position to where you got a family that you need to provide and you have to make certain decisions, go ahead and do so. But at a specific time, sorry about that, I didn't mean to repeat myself, but after a specific time, you should be able to have a budget. Again, you should be able to budget and plan. You should be able to have a marketing strategy. You should be able to have a business plan. And some of the brothers and sisters that I know, and this is why I word the things that I word, they're the ones that don't really have their plans in check. And it's not to be disrespectful to them, because I already admitted the fact that there were some things I had to figure out on my own. But I'm man enough to admit that. I'm grown enough to admit that, and I definitely made it my business to check myself on those things in order to make better decisions. But yeah, there's some brothers and sisters who are honestly content with where things are, meaning that they are racking up the necessary funds, but their quality of life is the problem. The reason why I'm bringing that up, meaning that they're sometimes living above their means. Like some of them really will have successful businesses and be like, that means more weed, that means more liquor, that means more partying,
More gambling,
simple shit like that.
I've been there. Okay, I've came to a pinnacle. I thought, and what did I do? A vice came up. I started gambling real bad. But then when I saw 27 grand for a month gone, and I did because you're unconscious when you do these little vices. 27 a month for that month gone. I'm like, nah, man. Get Gamblers Anonymous. I can't throw away $27,000. Okay, so
but just like you just said, Muhammad, it takes a certain amount of discipline to start doing what you're going to do. I mean,
agree.
to get out there and just say, I'm going to go into business and just throw yourself out there, you're asking for failure. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people have a lot of gumption that can get out there and possibly do it. But if you have things that you have to take care of, you throw yourself out there, guess what? You're going to fail. You have to have a plan, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But even if you fail, Mo,
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying failing is a bad thing.
No, I'm just saying. I know you're not saying that, but I'm saying, you use failure as a stepping stone to get to a bigger.
Agreed.
Success, okay, you got to understand what you did wrong, all right, and then keep it moving. I did this, so I know that kind of put me back some. So I'm not gonna do this again. I'm gonna push it to the side. Let me try something else. Let me keep going.
Yeah.
But you don't give up.
My fair share of mistakes. So I mean, y'all
and I want to speak on that too about the whole failure situation, because as the youngest person as part of the panel, I grew up during a time where being the first, second, and third losers was socially acceptable, meaning you get participation trophies, if you will.
Right.
So it's so much so to the point where these are cushions. These are
crutches.
Thank you. These are crutches to literally help cope with the fact that you're losing. And it's like, nah. Like, I mean, I admit, as a kid, it was good. It felt nice to have, but then as you got older, it's like, nah, I want to win. I don't want to, I don't want to come behind. I don't want to be no damn runner up. I don't want to get brownie points just for the sake that I was there. So much so to the point where, like, even though I'm grown now, I see how it plays out in so many areas of the world, and it's so sad. When we look at sports, for example, there's a lot of basketball, football, even baseball players to an extent that has not set foot on the field, that has not set foot on the court, and they're getting championship rings.
Right.
Like I'm fairly certain right now. There's a couple of players right now that either has more championship rings than your favorite player, or has more championship rings than certain players, and you'd be like, "That's a damn shame." Like there's some players right now who probably have not barely set foot in the court in their entire career, and they got 2 to 3 more rings than some popular players. Chris Paul, for example.
Let's go.
And this man literally been putting in work.
Yeah.
Like you got people, literally grown men, grown women getting participation trophies.
But I gotta say this: who's responsible for putting that damn pacifier in those kids' mouth?
White people.
Well, I mean,
obviously accountability is everything. So I want to make that clear.
My whole thing, I wouldn't do that to my son. I wouldn't do that to my son.
You wouldn't do it to your son.
And then again, Muhammad wouldn't either. So I'm just saying.
But those the persuasion would though.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm alluding to, because like I said, like I can tell Mr. Bovee that you're not going to be handing your son 15, 20 years old a freaking pacifier. You're not going to be putting a pacifier in your daughter's mouth 15, 20, 25.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: when you put them out into the world, depending on where you're sending them to, they will put that pacifier in their respective mouths.
Well, yeah, and we have to make sure that they recognize what a pacifier is too.
I agree.
That's very, very, very important.
I ain't gonna quote Malcolm X now.
Hey man, so look, we want to identify too what the challenges are that Black entrepreneurs face. And I think one of them is the stereotypes, the bias and discrimination that exists in the society that we live in. All right, this world is and sometimes the negative perceptions can kind of halt the ability to secure funding, to attract customers, and have access to markets that can truly help them. What do y'all think about that?
I think we have some of those successes in our culture. Some, not as much as we need or should have, because of the blocked access to those, things that can make them even more successful. Um, my whole thing is, of course, we're not getting what we deserve. We all know that.
Well, yeah.
We all know that we're not getting what we deserve.
Why
And
is that though, Mo? We're doing the same thing that the white man is doing. Okay, and this is we're not racist. Okay? Listen, we're not
Black
hey,
people
Greg,
can't be
hey,
racist.
Greg, if I knew the answer to that question, brother, if
I'm just putting it out. We're doing the same thing.
Other than this melanin right here, other than this melanin, I can't give you no answer there.
I
You know
got
what I'm saying?
bro. But those things are questions that we need to ask ourselves. Well, I mean, we're doing the exact same thing, if not more. But we still,
Well,
and I asked the question about the disparity. I'm sorry, in the range of as far as the money making. We're entrepreneurs, right? But doing the same business, the white man is up here, and we're here. We're making our money, but the white man's making twice as much. Doing the same exact thing that we're doing, and we're doing it better than he is.
Just going back to what I said earlier.
And to expand on that, because in reference to the conversation that me and Mr. Gray had, I talked about the situation with power. Like, we have to fully comprehend the seriousness of our situation and the environment. White people run this place. White people have power, and because they have power, they're able to flex their respective privileges. They're able to enforce certain rules and regulations. So of course there's going to be other white people who's going to get access to those funds, who's going to get access to those opportunities, whereas as us as a people, even though we could be twice, or matter of fact, we ain't even going to say twice, we could be 5 to 10 times as better than them. But we can't get access to the resources, and the reason being is because they gatekeep these resources.
Gatekeep. There we go. Let's go.
So we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest with the situation, and knowing the fact that these devils are out here gatekeeping the situation, it's on us to figure out how we can circumvent the entire situation. And the reason why I'm wording things like that, because I'm not gonna lie, I grew up in the gutter. Like, I love my parents, but I'm gonna be honest with you. My parents had it situated to where we grew up homeless. There should have been no reason why my mother and my father was making certain decisions to the point where I didn't have a place to sleep at night as a kid. There's times where I couldn't eat. And I'm not trying to disrespect my family either. I'm just being honest about the situation. Or, as some people like to say, modern society playing with words, I'm coming plain about my situation. But there were some valuable lessons that I've learned growing up in the gutter, and that is, if there's a will, there's a way. I did not like how things was going on, and as a kid, I was not in a position to seize control of my situation. But I shit you not, once I turned 18 and I realized I had that bit of power to do something, I never looked back.
Right.
I can honestly say I'm going to be 34 this coming February. Never been homeless a day in my life. I'm going to say a day in my adult life. Between 18 to 34, I can genuinely say never been homeless, never struggled, never been in a position to where I didn't even know where my next meal was. And the reason being is because I knew what it felt like as a child to not know where my next meal was.
And
I also knew what it's like to be put in a position to where I had to rely on people who did not know where my next meal was coming from. So I'd be damned if I did that shit to myself as an adult, and I don't got no kids yet too, but I'd be damned if I do that to my future family that I intend on building. So I say all that to say, there's a will, there's a way. And one of the ways that I've kind of noticed on YouTube, for example, I can't count how many ads I'm seeing of people talking about, the government is giving away free money.
But come on.
All you have to do is apply. I can't count how many times I've come across brothers and sisters who actually put in applications for grant money as well. And also I can't count how many times when I was in college, I found out that people was getting scholarships just for the hell of it. You could be right and left-handed, you getting a scholarship. It might be a little maybe a little 1,000, 1,500, might even go up to 5,000. And it might seem minute, but they're giving away money. Yep. You just have to be willing to find it, and that's why I'm saying you got to circumvent the entire situation. Instead of going to these white people directly trying to get something. It's like, yo, seek out the middlemen. Seek out these people that are generally just giving away the money.
Mm-hmm.
Seek out certain government officials or government
Programs.
Thank you, government programs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you will be very surprised how many people or how many corporations, institutions is willing to give away is willing to pay you just for the hell of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you have to go do your due diligence.
Once you get that money, you also have to have that business plan. You have to also be able to know what you're doing. So it's not enough to be like, oh, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just sign up for this scholarship and get that, because I write left-handed, and get that 1,000, 1,500, even 5,000. But you got to know what you plan on doing with that money.
Yeah, you got to do your due diligence. Definitely got to do your due diligence.
And that's why I put that question in our private chat. What's the difference between wealthy and being rich? You have our young people looking at these videos, looking at these movies, and they're seeing all of these material things. And, oh, I'm going to be rich. I want to be rich. And they don't realize that there's a difference between that wealthy and being rich. Mm-hmm. Being rich is having the material things that can go like that. It's like getting a paycheck or living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, now I have this big check, or I have this big tax refund check, and then going out and spending it versus
I'm rich.
That money to, pardon me? Oh, I thought you, and versus being wealthy and investing and having assets that's going to grow your money. And, so that right there, like he's talking about with the grants and the scholarships. Oh, now I have money. Because I know when I was at Purdue, there would be people that had scholarships and grants that didn't go directly to the university. And they got it in their hands. Oh, I'm gonna go buy this. I'm gonna go buy that. Oh, I'm gonna go on a cruise. I'm gonna go do this, versus actually trying to use that money to where it should have gone. And I like what he just said. You have to also have a plan and know what you're going to do with that money, versus just, I have the money and I'm just going to pretty much
blow it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about wealth is wealth is generated when you pass it to you, when you create it in your family line. And sometimes, that wealth power follows the wealth. Sometimes it just depends, because if you think about Mr. I'm not going to say his name, I'm just going to put a T on there. The person that's trying to run this country again, and you think about Obama. You think about this day and night, two people day and night doing the same job, and he doesn't know. It seems like he doesn't know what he's doing, but seems like he has a full grasp. He knows exactly what it's power. It is power that he wants, versus what Obama was trying to do is actually help people. Biden, same thing, trying to help people. He knows how to use power to get what he wants. He don't give a damn about what anybody else wants. And I can't understand for the life of me why don't nobody see that.
If they see it, they're just brainwashed. Okay. Mohammed's putting a lot of stuff here in the private chats. Okay, he says rich.
Yeah, I just looked up the definitions and I just wanted to share them.
Go ahead.
Give me a second, because I also had to screenshot them as well, so that way I can actually look at the screen too. And so rich, it's a few definitions. Rich is defined as having a great deal of money or assets. They also link it to wealthy. It's an adjective. Definition 2, plentiful, abundant. And then you have wealth definition. Give me 1 second. Screenshot it again. Wealth is defined as an abundance of valuable possessions or money. So it's like, they, to an extent, it sounds the same, but it's a play on word games when you really sit there and think about it. It's actually a difference.
Wealth to me is also with the knowledge that I pass to my children and my children's children. That's wealth to me. I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with how many bills I got in my pocket.
Exactly. It's not necessary.
No, I agree. And that's why it's also described as valuable possessions as well. A skill could be classified as a valuable possession.
Well,
a trade, a talent, if you will, could be classified as a valuable possession.
Right, right. But let's understand something. And we talked about what's a reason why businesses don't prosper or fail. Is it really? And you spoke on this earlier, Mohammed. Is it really because a lot of people are saying it's the lack of access to money, right? But is that really the reason why businesses fail?
No, like there's a lot of cons or reasons why that some of the businesses are failing, and some of that really ties into the business owner. You know, and it goes back to something that I've alluded to numerous times, which is the marketing strategy, the business plan, the budgeting plan. Like these things are some things that some of our brothers and sisters, as Black business owners, do not pay attention to, and also decorum as well. How you conduct yourself for the sake of your business.
Yep.
You can, for example, you cannot run. I'm gonna say as a Black woman, you cannot be a beautician but talk to your clientele any old kind of way. Be rude or be nasty to your clientele in any old kind of way, or even go as far as the beautician thing is concerned, you having all these rules and regulations as to how your client is supposed to have their hair. Like example, let's just say, boom, you know, no disrespect, I'm a woman and I see you, Miss Amos, and I'm like, and you, let's just say you came to me and was like, oh, you wanted to get your hair done. I'm telling you that you got to have your hair washed, or you have to have your hair done a certain way in order for me to actually do your hair. And then I'm also charging you outrageous prices that comes with the aspect of doing your hair. There's some beauticians who do these things.
I was just gonna say, and that happens, yeah.
But you go to another beauty salon, and they do it for half price, and you get the same result, and you get treated better. I get what I get where you're going. You know, with Brother Muhammad, I get where you're going. I get exactly where you're going. It was one of the things I was going to bring up tonight, and that is our level of expectation at our businesses that we open for folks ought to be the same as if they're going down to, you know, Johnny's Market. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Johnny's Market, you walk in the door, people greet you. They ain't ghetto or whatever. You know, they ain't trying to put no culture on it. They're just trying to make sure that you get what you're gonna get in Johnny's Market. But you go to Tyrone's Market, and it's all blasting, music blasting. You know, it's not really professional, and you know, it's out in left field with the catches, and then he charging you double what Johnny's charged, and then he get pissed off because you don't go patronize.
And you know, we need you as a people.
We need to
Stop
realize that.
expecting just because we're from the melanated community that we should automatically get a discount. Hey, brother, like, yeah, I need a discount. I know you're gonna give me a discount, but we don't ask for that. Like you said, when we go elsewhere.
And to be honest with you, it speaks to the self-hatred. I mean to interject. I just wanted to point that out. No. Go ahead. Finish it.
So you know, and that's something that you know, or I'm just not going to support you because you think you all that, you got a business now. Why am I going to support you? What free are you going to give me? What things that are free are you going to give me? What extra services do I get? And why do we feel that way just because our skin color is the same?
And you know, I had alluded to that earlier. It speaks to the self-hatred, and you know, anybody who's done the history of the United States of America know, you know, the transatlantic slave trade, which honestly was a war strategy in and of itself. I don't care what nobody say. You know, these devils declared war on us when they did colonization and they did the transatlantic slave trade, which is human trafficking. All that stuff really were strategies of war. But I'm gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the situation. Their war strategies were so successful to the point where, as a people, we don't like each other like that. We don't fuck with each other like that. We don't really care to see. We don't care to view blackness in a much more positive light as we should. So much so to the point where it literally spills out into everyday life in the most nuanced ways, such as businesses, for example, whether it's being a business owner or being a patron. We somehow have this expectation of how our brothers and sisters are supposed to conduct themselves, but at the same time, we're not willing to, and I'm speaking general when I say this because I'm fairly certain the four of us don't conduct ourselves in that way. But from a general standpoint, there's this way of, you know, this brother, this sister better support me. Fuck him, though. But they better support me. or as a patron. I hope this brother and sister could be able to look out for me. Fuck them though, but I hope they can be able to look out for me. And like I said, it ties into that self-hatred. We do not see value in blackness. And by extension, we don't see value. We don't see value within ourselves. And it spills out. And it hurts. And it hurts me to see all this as well. But this is the truth that is going on. This is the truth, and this is what's going on. And like I alluded to Brother Gray, we need to comprehend the seriousness of our situation.
And
there are solutions to play, and there are brothers and sisters who do see value in one another, and they do make it their business to hold themselves accountable to an extent to by having these businesses, by being patrons and whatnot. I know because I do it too. I'll make it my business. I'll support any black business that wants to be a success, and any black business that looks out for black people. But don't get it twisted. I also do my research. Once I see you as a black business, you don't care for your marketing strategy. You don't care to have black people as part of your marketing strategy, or you feel the need to have whites and Asians and other non-blacks as part of your market strategy. I don't feel comfortable giving you my black dollars. And the reason why I don't feel comfortable giving you my black dollars, because that tells me right then and there, you desperately want Asian money. You desperately want white money. And keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to succeed. There's nothing wrong with you wanting the money. I want to put that out there. It really is nothing wrong with that. But you have to be well intentioned as to why you want that money. Why do you feel so strongly that you have to have Asian patrons? Why do you feel so strongly that you have to have white patrons?
Well, I get what you're saying, but in reality, right now, if you think about it, if you want to go back historically, we have had the respect, we have had the success. It was torn down by whites. I mean, we've had those things in our history where we were doing business and we wanted to do business with each other, and we didn't lock out white folks, we didn't lock out Asian folks, but they lock us out.
Agreed, and there's a reason why they locked us out.
It's not
and as far as the white people is concerned, there's a reason why they also terrorized us as well. And it goes back to what I was saying about the war strategies, the mutilations, and not to get too visceral with it, but the mutilations, the beatings, the violent, disgusting crimes against divinity that they've committed against us. And I word it like that because I firmly am convinced that we are a divine people. So I don't say crimes against humanity. I say crime against divinity. But yeah, these things had definitely occurred, and these strategies were so successful to the point where I've done the research. I've looked up phenomenal and successful brothers and sisters that had businesses, but I also paid attention as to why they were terrorized or why they went under. Is because to an extent, and I'm saying all of them did it, but some of these brothers and sisters did not defend themselves. They were literally so hell bent on, I'm just minding my business. I'm just staying up. I'm just trying to stay out the way, that they really thought white people was going to leave us alone. No, they're not going to just leave us alone just because we in the cut and we minding our own business. They don't like the fact that we're doing good. And in some cases, they don't like the fact that we're doing better than them. That's reason enough to destroy that business.
And see, that's
the question.
That's the reason why. Go ahead, man.
I was going to answer the question for me. Why wouldn't we want those bucks that you were talking about, the white nation bucks?
We don't have to win at all costs. We should.
I mean, I get that part, but why would we have a business and deny somebody coming in to do business with you?
I never said deny. I said there shouldn't be a focus on wanting their money.
I'm not talking about
focus at that.
No.
Look, there's enough of us. There's enough of us to number one, create black entrepreneurs, all right, and number two, support black entrepreneurs. Okay, we can, if we support it like they support theirs, there'd be no problems. There would be no issues.
No, it wouldn't. But again, we have to raise our level of expectations up too. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to spend my black bucks, I want the same service or better service. You know what I'm saying?
But if we continue to think, I'm not saying you, Mo, but we continue to think, because we've been programmed evidently that if we go to Starbucks we're going to get better service than if we go to my place, Brown Skin Coffee, Tea, and Wine. You know what I mean? We're programmed to that. Okay, so we expect that we're going to be ghetto, you know, because it's black owned. We expect that we're not going to get the same service as that Starbucks. Okay, we got to get that out of our head. Okay, give everyone an opportunity, give everyone a chance. Okay, Robbie Thomas says, I prefer to be wealthy than rich. Customer service is key. Also, having reserve funds are important as well as investing back into your business. We are a people that have to we have to collaborate. Thank you. Yeah. And get others as competitors. Those vowels just get caught up in them consonants.
This just ain't your day today.
I'm gonna get them fixed. Anyway, I mean, thank you for the comment, Robbie. I didn't even put it up there. Look at me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please put that comment.
Put it back up there, man.
Yes.
Again, I would prefer to be wealthy than rich. Customer service is key. Also, having reserve funds are important.
People have to collaborate. I look at others competitors. I agree with that wholeheartedly, and it ties back to what I was saying about how successful their war strategies were, especially when it comes to self-hatred. So much so to the point where we see each other as opponents. We antagonize one another. We see each other as enemies to an extent. And yet when white people come around or Asian people come around, non-blacks come around, we desperately want their friendship. We desperately want their partnership. Some a little more than others, but the whole point is that we put them on a certain pedestal. We see them we hold them to a certain standard of life. And whenever we come across our own people and we like, oh, they're not going to measure up to them.
Right.
And it's up and I just say all that to say it's up to us to establish our own code of conduct, our own standards, our own sense of decorum. We have to make sure that it does not mirror white people. Now, I'm not saying we supposed to just be gutter and negative and ghetto and all that other disrespectful stuff. No,
when I say level expectation,
but
I mean
we have to fully affirm that as a people, we have to conduct ourselves with a certain level of respect that is meant for us. We have to hold ourselves to a certain parameter that is meant for us. And history has proven that. African history. Like, I'm not trying to talk y'all ear off, but it's like I've done the necessary research. Like it's been historically proven that that African people, black people, have contributed so much positive stuff to society. I mean, come on. Like when it comes to businesses and economics and finances, we did that.
We did that. Thank you. Come on, speak on it.
Like every other group literally came late, and once they were able to get on that, they spend it and they made it work for them. And then, of course, after declaring war on us and messing with us and whatnot, then they want to make themselves the standard. I'm sorry, Jews and whoever else, you are not the standard of successful business and finances. We are. We've done it for such a very long time. Like even when we talk about the institution of relationships and love, it's because of us we establish what it means to have healthy relationships. So when I hear people talk about that love is love bullshit, and I'm sorry to go off into a tangent, but I got to say this. But when people talk that love is love bullshit, no, love is not just love. That is a lie. Because if love is love, then you're saying it's okay to engage in incest. You're saying it's okay to be predatory. You're saying it's okay to do these negative and disgusting things. No, it's not. Love is not love. There's paternal love. There's sibling love. There's familial love. There is platonic love between friends. There is intimate love, which is the basis of human life, aka black love. Screw the other people, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So I say all that to say, like, we have to start but we have to see each other as brothers and sisters again. We have to learn to love each other, but more importantly, I mean, we have to learn to love ourselves first, of course. But we have to be able to exude that. And if some brothers and sisters aren't receptive to it, we have to leave them behind instead of trying to force them to be brotherly, instead of trying to force them to be sisterly. And that's also where some of us mess up, because we think, oh, we have to be accepting of everybody. We have to like stretch our arms out as long as possible and hug everybody, especially when it comes to black people. We don't have to do that. I'm sorry, Boo Boo, Ray Ray, Shaniqua, or whoever. And not saying there's nothing wrong with those names, but it's like, yo, if you continue to want to be gutter, you continue to want to be ghetto, you want to be nasty, you want to be disgusting, that's cool. Keep that shit across the street.
Right.
Don't bring it over.
I have a question for you. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about the disparities and things. What is your take? Let's talk politics a little bit and voting and getting people in. Give me your take on that and what you feel as a 30, what you say, 33,
33.
30, 33-year-old coming up young man. I like to hear from young people, and I stress getting out there. What are your what's your take with the voting?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been on the fence with it for a long time because I never fully comprehended the whole aspect of voting and politics. Like I literally had to learn on my own. My parents didn't teach me, and I also wasn't in the spaces where there were older brothers and sisters that was willing to teach me and teach other youth about this. But based on what I've learned, I'm not gonna say that voting and politics is not important because it is important, but we can't make it way more important than having economic freedom. We can't make it more important than having our own respective economic base. And the reason why I say this is when you look at other groups, and I'm not saying we should emulate them or copy them or anything in that nature, but there's a reason why they move the way that they do. For example, the Asians. There's a reason why it's not a handful of Asian politicians. It's because they have a strong economic base in their respective communities. So much so to the point where they feel like, or rather they're convinced they don't have to elect Asian politicians in order to get certain resources from the government. I'm not saying we can't do that. We should, if anything, we should get involved with politics, but we have to get our economic base up and running first. So that way, when when we do decide we want black politicians, we can actually fund them. And the reason why I also alluded to that as well, as a former college student as well, I went to Fisk University, and prior to that, I went to BMCC. So my major was criminal justice and political science. So I've learned enough to know. I learned enough about politics, enough to know about lobbyists, where there were lobbyists and interest parties, basically groups of people that are sitting around with funds, with money. And the first thing they ask these respective politicians are, what are you going to do for us? What do you plan on doing for us? And they ask these questions first. And if they're satisfied with the answers, okay, then I'm going to give you the money.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just be like, oh, I'm going to give you the money, and then I'm going to ask you what you're going to do for us. No. We have to screen these politicians, especially black politicians. You cannot say that you want my vote, or you cannot say that you want my vote, but you expect me to just woefully support you simply because you're black.
Right.
Like, our schools need more funding. Our schools need more buses. Our schools need better quality textbooks.
And to pay the teachers.
Exactly. Our school need funding for better teachers. In fact, we need better institutions for our respective schools.
Period. Yeah.
If you are serious about getting all that, okay, cool. Then we'll be able to we'll lobby. We will gladly support you and help you get in office. Ain't no I'm just gonna give you the money, or I'm just gonna give you my vote, and then when it's all said and done, you do get in office. Is, oh well, I ain't got nothing for you. I had to take care of these group of people first. I had to take care of that group of people first. No, that's not how this works. As messed up as it sounds, politics also is a business.
It is. It is.
And we have to be smart. We have to be smart enough to get in business with these people, and not let them get in business with us. We have to be smart enough to get in business with them. If we don't have our necessary resources in check, then all this voting and supporting politicians don't really mean nothing. There was another part of the question that you wanted to answer from as well. I think it's something about disparity as well.
No, I was just asking, what do you think? I hear so many people saying that my vote's not going to count. And I am like, I tell people, don't vote because of the skin color. Don't vote because of their Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, whatever. Look at the policies, look at the past. And you kind of alluded a little bit to that. What have they done? Because you can promise anything. And just to get into office, and then it's like, okay, for me, it's not about the color, the religion, any of that. But I just wanted to hear what you had to say about, voting, and because to me that's a big thing. Because if we're not voting, you know, anything or anybody can get in office, and then what are they doing for our communities?
I agree. You're definitely right. Anybody and anything can definitely get in office, especially when it comes to voting, and we're voting indiscriminately. But we have to be very smart and we have to be wise about our voting. And I'm probably gonna get flack for this, but I agree with how Ice Cube approached the political situation, especially with Donald Trump. Quiet as a lot of people. A lot of people view Ice Cube as a sellout and whatnot because he was willing to sit down with Donald Trump. But here's the thing: Donald Trump was willing to actively listen to what the man had to say before the whole voting procedure came about. What did Joe Biden say? Oh, well, give us the vote now, and then we'll talk about y'all once we get in. That's not how this works, sir. I need to fully comprehend what type of tangibles are you willing to offer us right now. If you're not willing to do that, hell, if you're not even willing to sit down with us before you get voted in, then all this talk about what's going to happen afterwards, that don't mean anything. And the United States has a long history of doing that. Telling black people, sit down, be quiet, wait till we get in office first, and then we'll talk about you, or then we'll figure out what's the next move for y'all. It's been going on for too long, and we need to stop that.
And it has to stop.
And we also need to stop being very emotional when it comes to voting as well. And
you already know that's never gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna take some time, but it's gonna happen. And I've also learned too, we gotta be more mindful about the power of our respective words as well. Yeah. Like I've always, like I said, I grew up I come from the gutter. I grew up learning the hard way that if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And there's some people right now who are so convinced that their will is shot so much to the point where they feel like there's no way to succeed. There's probably not even no way to be able to make it to the next step. Nah, there's definitely ways of making it to the next step. You have to look within yourself, and you have to be willing to figure that out on your own.
Yep, got to take that time and develop that. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's what they always say, and I agree with that totally, man. We're talking about entrepreneurship, Black entrepreneurship, and yeah, as we always do, we stray from the subject sometimes, all right? But it's a good thing that we stray from the subject, especially with my brother Mohammed here, with the knowledge that he has, all right? And I told you guys at the beginning, he knows a lot about a lot of different things, and it's not just this, all right? And I've had a conversation with him before the show started, and we're going to have to do this. It's about the entertainment business, all right? The business of entertainment and the state of it, where it's been. And y'all know me, I've always asked that question about it. And I've gotten the answers. Mo, you've been promoting and producing for a long time, all right? Things are different now. And I'm not going to get started right now, Mohammed, but we're going to schedule another time you can come on and we're going to have that whole
yes, sir.
Blow it out like that, okay?
But for now, let's stick to the topic, which is entrepreneurship.
Well, we ain't got no more topic now because we ain't got no more time. Ain't got no more.
I was gonna say this. Definitely, I think there was another question that you asked. You said the pros and cons of being a Black entrepreneur,
and I'm going to give you the next 5 minutes to talk about that.
Oh no, I mean, I wanted to hear everybody else, but man, from my personal experience of being a photographer for 9 years, but actively being in business for over 3 years. The pros, like I've alluded to in our previous conversation, was the power and control of knowing where the money was coming from. That was a huge pro, and the reason why I say this is because I was confident in my skills. I was confident in my abilities as a photographer. So just knowing that I had that confidence, and I was able to put myself out there and be surrounded by enough enough clientele, and even generate the necessary clientele. And I saw the money coming in, and I'm like, oh, this is good. I'm gonna lie, I felt a little exhilarated about it because, again, I'm putting in work, and I'm in something that I know I can do. I'm confident in something that I know I can do, and to see and to get paid for it, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. That's one pro. Another pro is the flexibility, being able to control my own schedule, being able to determine when and where I want to work, how I want to work, and stuff like that. And also another pro to it was just the budgeting plan as well. Like no, not just the budgeting. I'm gonna say learning about the business aspects, such as the budgeting plan, the marketing strategies, the business plan, the clientele, the sense of decorum, like learning all these things. These are pros personally for me, because it made me feel like, okay, if I'm really serious about doing this, these are the things that I have to learn, and these are the things that I need to seriously work on. Now, the cons of being a Black entrepreneur, the lack of support. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like, I definitely was not getting that support. Like the most hurtful thing that I was receiving, or it was the negative feedback from people telling me that, oh, I'm gonna wind up back on the employment sector. You know, that I'm gonna be calling Chipotle to get my job back, or that I'm gonna be back to applying at McDonald's, or because of my intelligence, I'm gonna be back to applying at bookstores. I'm gonna be back to working as a librarian and stuff like that. Like, nah, I definitely want to be around that. Another con to the situation was, again, the budgeting plan. If there are times where I admit I did not adhere to my budgeting plan, I had to go against my word, and I saw what happened when I went against my word. Not saying that I was starving or anything of that nature, but I saw I couldn't be able to pay or even continue to put money to the side for things that I want. Like, I got a basic Canon T5. I don't even have any lens. And there's been numerous instances where I had to tap into those finances, and because of that, I wasn't able to pay for new lenses. I wasn't able. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say I wasn't able to. I have not been able to pay for my new lenses. I have not been able to purchase a new camera. I have not been able to purchase a new tripod. And keep in mind, I'm not saying this as a bad thing. It's a negative, but it's not a bad thing. These are things that I had to learn on my own. So yeah, that's definitely a con. And also another con was coming across not Black people, but coming across niggas that really thought that I was going to be doing free stuff.
Well, now
there's a difference.
There's a major difference. I've learned that from the old heads, and that lesson has stuck by me to this very day. So yeah, those are definitely the pros and cons of being a Black entrepreneur. And once again, I do not stress this enough. I don't perceive them to be negative things about, especially when it comes to discussing these cons. And the reason being is because I had to learn these lessons so I can be successful. I want to be successful. I command success, and I'm going to be successful. So I have to go through this route in order for me to do this.
Bars. Oh, what you got?
Man, I can see the lights on, and you want to allow yourself to fail. I mean, you're gonna make some mistakes, but you want to allow yourself to fail. And actually, people are just pouring gasoline on you when they tell you what you ain't gonna do. So, my hats off to you, brother. Keep pushing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Marcel, what you got?
I always say the best revenge is to be successful. When people are constantly telling you what you're not going to be, what you're not going to do. People, start supporting each other. Love yourself and love each other.
Man, look, I've said this a lot of times. I've said it on the show. I've said it to people that I speak to all the time. You know what you do, and you think that you do it better than anybody else. Stop building that staircase in somebody else's house when you can build an elevator in your own. All right. Come on. We are good. We can do things, okay? But stop letting people tell us we can't do it, okay? And stop feeding the other people all of the ideas and the money and this and that, when you could just build that elevator and go straight like that as opposed to walk.
Oh, I want to touch on something right quick. The biggest pro, I just remember that, but the biggest pro that I've learned was knowing who was supporting me as well. And again, having the confidence within self, because of the fact that I knew all these things. I knew who I had to go to for help, and I knew who I was able to speak to in order to in order to get the help that I need. Sometimes it came in the form of positive reinforcement. Sometimes it came in the form of just a general conversation. And there were very few instances when when the positive support came where it was money, because I admit there were instances where I had to I've made mistakes. And from a positive standpoint, I did receive a consequence for that. And that's also what people need to comprehend. There are positive and negative aspects of consequences. It sounds negative because of that first word, con.
There you go. So, hey man, Mohammed, Brother Mohammed, we appreciate you coming to the show, hanging out with us, man, and speaking on the subject that's very important, Black entrepreneurship. All right, we had a ball. And again, he's coming back, guys. I know he's coming back.
Hey.
Talk about some other thing. We might just be talking about balloons go up in the air, and I bet you he can break it. I'm telling you, I bet you can break it down. But until then, man, we're gonna see you. We're gonna definitely, you guys follow him. Mohammed Shakur. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that what you're under?
I was gonna say you can follow me on Facebook, Mohammed Shakur. If I do have an Instagram, World's Blackest Photographer, all one word. I'm actually gonna put it in the chat right now. So World's
Marcelo, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna share. I'm gonna take the YouTube link and reshare it, and I'll put it on there on that, because we got to get out of here.
By the way, thank y'all for this opportunity, Brother Gray, Mr. Gray. Thank you for this opportunity to have me on the show, Miss Amos, Brother OB. Thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. Thank you for taking the time to gauge me as well, and also to challenge me as well, because we need this, especially from a younger person to the older generation. I need this in order to be a success. I need to be asked the hard questions. And to an extent, I need the reminder that accountability is everything. Because y'all in a position to where y'all don't really have to do much anymore, and that's a good thing. So it's on me to pick up the slack. But at the same time, though, like I said, I just appreciate y'all.
Hey man, you taught a lot. Okay, again, guys, masterclass. All right, we got one. All right, Dopeliven TV Live, man. We will see you guys tomorrow. All right, Barter Black. Make sure you all come in tomorrow, because Cole Murphy will be here talking about the Barter Black. We need to make sure that we barter together. Yes, I'm a minute over, but we need. I'm 2 minutes over. My show. I can do it.
I was going to say that.
Okay, I can go 30 minutes over if I wanted to, but we want to be consistent. All right. She'll be on tomorrow to talk about Barter Black, the website, and what we need to do as Black people to get into each other. All right, to make sure that we are supporting one another. It's going to be an interesting conversation, just as this one was. Thank you, Mohammed, for coming to the show. It's Dopeliven TV Live. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right.
Peace.